Ravi sat inside the small space shuttle, staring out the window as stars stretched like silver rivers across the darkness. He had traveled for many weeks, passing through silent systems where only dust and gas clouds lived. His destination was near now Velora, the world of the Alari. The humans back on Earth had sent him as a peace envoy. His task was simple in words but heavy in meaning: create trust, build friendship, and if possible, form an alliance. Humanity was still young. Among the stars, they had strong ships, but they lacked allies. The Alari were one of the oldest starfaring races. If they accepted humans as friends, many doors would open. Ravi's shuttle began to slow as Velora filled the window. It was a world of deep blue oceans and shining green lands. But what caught his eyes most was the cities. From orbit, he could see them glittering like jewels. Towers of crystal rose high, glowing softly with inner light. Great bridges connected them, floating above the ground as if the air itself held them. A calm voice came from the shuttle's console. Envoy Ravi, prepare for landing. Royal escort awaits. The shuttle slipped lower, passing through clouds that sparkled with tiny particles of light. When the ship touched down on a smooth platform, he was greeted not by guards with weapons, but by tall figures wrapped in flowing silver robes. Their faces were gentle, their eyes glowing faintly like starlight. One stepped forward. She was tall, graceful, with long hair that shimmered blue like water under the moon. Her robe was marked with golden lines, showing her high rank. "Welcome, human Ravi," she said in a clear, melodic voice. "I am Princess Mira, daughter of the royal house of Alari. You are honored here." Ravi bowed politely, placing a hand over his chest. "It is my honor, Princess Mira. I come with peace and friendship from Earth." She smiled, though her smile carried a strength behind it, as if she could command armies if needed. "Come, walk with me. Velora is ready to meet you." The city spread out around them like a dream. The towers seemed to grow from the ground itself. Smooth and alive, light flowed through channels in the streets, giving a glow under every step. Flying creatures with silver wings circled the air, and people moved with calm grace. Bowing slightly as they saw the princess, Mira led Ravi to the royal hall. The building was vast, shaped like a great flower opening to the sky. Inside, crystal pillars rose high, catching sunlight and scattering it into colors across the floor. At the center sat the royal family. The king was tall and stern, his robe heavy with gems, while the queen carried kindness in her calm eyes. The king's voice was deep. "Human Ravi, you stand before the house of Alari. Tell us, why should your people walk beside ours?" Ravi felt the weight of the moment. He was only one man, but his words could shape the future of two worlds. He stepped forward and spoke with steady voice, "Because humanity seeks not war, but friendship. We do not wish to rule or to be ruled. We wish to share knowledge, to stand as partners against the darkness of space. Alone, we are small. Together, we are strong." There was silence. Then the queen leaned toward the king, whispering. The king nodded slowly. Princess Mira, however, kept her eyes fixed on Ravi, studying him carefully. After the audience, Mira approached him. "Your words were strong, but strength alone does not win the heart of Velora. The Alari value trust, loyalty, and courage. Many races have asked for alliance, but few we accept." Ravi nodded. "I understand. What must I do to prove myself?" She looked at him for a long moment before answering. "Perhaps it is not about what you do, but about who you are. Walk among my people. Let them see you. Let me see you." The following days were filled with discovery. Mira guided him through the city, showing the wonders of Velora. He saw great libraries where knowledge was stored not in books, but in living crystals that sang with memory. He saw gardens that floated in the air, with rivers running upward, like waterfalls reversed. He met Alari children who laughed when he told them stories of Earth, of oceans, deserts, and mountains. Everywhere he went, people whispered about the human. Some smiled kindly, some looked doubtful. Ravi felt their eyes on him, weighing his worth. At night, he stayed in a guest chamber of the palace. Through the window he could see the twin moons of Velora. casting soft light across the crystal towers. He thought of Earth, far away, and wondered if he would succeed. One evening, as he walked in the royal garden, Mira joined him. The garden glowed with flowers that opened only under moonlight, their petals shining like silver fire. "You are different from the others who came before," she said softly. "How so?" Ravi asked. "They came with promises of power or gifts, of wealth. But you speak of partnership. You look at us as equals, not as treasures to be won." Ravi smiled faintly. "Perhaps it is because I see greatness in your people, and I believe true greatness shares itself rather than keeping others small." Mira's eyes glowed brighter for a moment. Then, after silence, she said, "There is something you must know. The Alari do not bind alliances with words alone. For our strongest ties, we look to the royal house. To accept a bond with us is to accept a bond with me." Ravi froze. He had not expected this. A bond with the princess? Did she mean marriage? Before he could speak, Mira continued, her voice calm but firm. "I, Princess Mira, have chosen you, human Ravi. But our custom is not so simple. If one sister of the royal line chooses, the others may also declare their choice. If that happens, you must accept them too, or risk breaking our house apart." Ravi stared at her, his heart racing. He had come seeking friendship. Now he stood at the edge of something far greater and far more complicated. The garden was silent, except for the soft hum of glowing flowers. Mira's eyes never left his. And somewhere in the shadows of the palace, another set of eyes watched ties belonging to Princess Lena, Mira's younger sister, who would soon step forward with a choice of her own. The next morning, the palace was alive with movement. Servants carried crystal trays. Musicians played soft tunes in the courtyards, and banners of silver and gold swayed in the breeze. Ravi felt both honored and uneasy. He had been treated like a guest of highest respect, but Mira's words from the night before still echoed in his mind. A bond with me. What had she meant exactly? He guessed, but he had not answered her yet. How could he? He had come for diplomacy, not marriage. Still, Mira's gaze had been so steady, so certain. She was not playing a game. She truly meant it. Ravi walked into the royal dining hall where Mira waited. The long table glittered with plates carved from shining stone, filled with fruits and glowing drinks. She stood when he entered, her silver robe flowing like liquid light. "Human Ravi," she said softly, "I hope you rested well." "I did," he replied politely, though his heart carried questions. The queen joined them soon after, followed by a younger figure who moved lightly, almost like a dancer. This girl had shorter hair than Mira, shining like dark blue silk, and her eyes sparkled with energy. She wore a robe with green designs, less formal, but still noble. Mira gestured. "This is my sister, Princess Lena." Lena smiled brightly. "So this is the human everyone whispers about. You look smaller than I imagined, but stronger too." Ravi gave a small bow. "It is an honor, Princess Lena." The meal passed with polite words, though Ravi noticed how Lena's eyes often lingered on him with curiosity. She laughed easily, unlike Mira, who carried calm dignity. After breakfast, Mira asked Ravi to walk with her once more. They strolled through the great palace corridor, where crystal walls reflected their images like water. She stopped suddenly, facing him. "Ravi, I will speak plainly. I admire you, your courage, your honesty, the way you treat my people. It is rare." Ravi stood silent, unsure what to say. Mira continued, her voice calm but full of weight. "I have chosen you for bond. It is not only a matter of heart, but of our people's future. If you accept, you will not only be my partner, but also a bridge between Alari and human. Our worlds will be tied forever." Her words struck him like thunder. Marriage, alliance, partnership, everything in one. Before Ravi could speak, a light laugh echoed from behind. Lena stepped into the corridor, her steps quick, her eyes playful yet sharp. "So, sister, you speak of bond already?" Lena said, folding her arms. "Do you forget the law?" Mira's eyes narrowed slightly. "I have not forgotten." "What law?" Ravi asked carefully. Lena smiled and explained. "Among the Alari, When one royal sister declares her choice, the others may also declare. It is our way to keep balance in the house, if more than one chooses. The chosen one must accept them all or risk breaking unity. To reject one is to insult the entire family. Ravi felt his breath catch. Then, you mean, yes, Lena said with a bright, fearless smile. I'd have chosen you, human Ravi. The quarter fell into heavy silence. Ravi stood frozen, his mind racing. Two princesses. Both sisters. Both declaring him. Mira spoke slowly. Lena, this is no game, I know. Lena answered firmly. I have watched him since he came. I see not only courage, but kindness. He listens to children. He speaks gently to servants. He does not walk with pride, but with respect. That is why I choose him. Ravi struggled for words. But I am only one man. On earth, this is not our way. We marry one, not two. Mira's eyes softened. On Velora, our way is different. To accept both is to show unity. To reject one is to divide us. Ravi's thoughts stormed. He had come for peace, for alliance. Now he stood at the center of a tradition he barely understood. What would Earth think if he agreed? What would the Alari think if he refused? That evening, Ravi sat alone in his guest chamber. The twin moons glowed outside the window, their light falling across the crystal walls. He remembered the faces of Mira and Lena, one calm and noble, the other bright and daring, both sincere, both looking at him as if he was more than just a visitor. A gentle knock came at the door. It was Lena. She stepped in quietly, her robe glowing faint green in the moonlight. Forgive me, she said softly. I should not have spoken so suddenly today, but my choice is true. I did not want to hide it. Ravi sighed. Princess Lena, I respect you. You are kind, but this is difficult for me. On Earth, two married to sisters would be impossible. Lena tilted her head, her eyes thoughtful. Maybe Earth has rules, but sometimes rules change. Did not humans once believe they could never cross the stars? Yet here you are. Her words struck him with quiet force. He realized she was not teasing, not joking. She was speaking from her heart. She added gently, I did not ask you to answer now. Only, do not close your heart so quickly. Let time show you what is right. She left the room, leaving Ravi in deep thought. The next day, Mira herself came. She walked with him to the palace balcony, overlooking the glowing city below. Her face was calm, but her voice carried quiet strength. Ravi, I must speak clearly. My sister and I are different in spirit, but we are both true in heart. I have chosen you, and so has she. If you accept both, the bond will be powerful, uniting our people beyond measure. If you refuse, you may still walk away unharmed, but the chance for alliance may die with it. Ravi gripped the railing, staring at the endless towers of light. His mind wrestled with two worlds, to traditions, to truths. He had not come to break hearts, nor to change customs. He had come to build peace. But peace now seemed tied not to words, but to choices of the heart. That night, the royal council gathered. Elders of the Alari, their robes heavy with crystal chains, sat in a wide circle. Ravi was asked to stand in the center. Mira and Lena stood at his side, one on each hand. The eldest elder spoke. Human Ravi, our daughters of the royal house, have declared their choice. Do you accept them both, as our law demands, or do you deny? Knowing what denial means, all eyes turned to him. Ravi felt the weight of two worlds pressing on his shoulders. He looked at Mira, calm and noble. He looked at Lena, bright and full of life. Both sincere, both waiting. His lips parted, but no answer came. And in that silence, the fate of alliance, of love, and of two worlds hung in the air. Ravi stood in the center of the Alari council chamber, the eyes of elders heavy on him. The glowing floor beneath his feet shimmered with shifting colors, as if it waited for his words, yet his voice did not rise. His heart felt torn in two directions, maybe even three, toward Mira, toward Lena, and toward the memory of Earth, where such a choice would never be asked of him. The eldest elder raised his staff. You may take time, human Ravi, but know this, To delay too long is to weaken trust. The Alari value decision. A path must be walked, not forever questioned. The council dismissed him. Mira gave him a look filled with patience, but also expectation. Lena smiled faintly, as if she trusted time to bring him closer to her choice. Ravi walked out of the chamber with heavy steps, his mind spinning in the following days. Ravi found no rest. He walked through Velora's crystal streets, speaking with the people. Hoping to find clarity, children ran to him, asking for stories. Of Earth, traders offered him strange fruits and metals, hoping to hear about human cities. Everywhere he went, whispers followed him. That is the human chosen by the princesses. Will he accept both, or will he bring shame? The words pressed on him like invisible chains. He had not chosen yet, but already he felt as if every step was judged. One evening, Mira invited him to the Hall of Memories. It was a vast chamber filled with floating crystals, each glowing with captured light. She touched one, and it bloomed. With images of the past scenes of Alari history, wars fought, alliances made, journeys across stars. This is our legacy, Mira said quietly. The Alari stand today because of choices made by those before us. Not all choices were easy. Some broke hearts, others cost lives. But without them, we would not be here. She turned to him, her eyes steady. Ravi, when I chose you, it was not only for myself, it was for my people. You carry courage and honor that I respect. You are different from the others who came before. With you, I believe our people can walk beside humans as equals. Her words touched him deeply. Mira was not only noble, she was wise. She did not seek him for power or pride. She truly saw him as a partner. But before he could answer, a soft laugh echoed in the hall. Lena stepped from the shadows, her green robe swaying lightly. You speak of history, sister, but history is more than kings and councils. Lena said, it is also kindness. It is the laughter of children, the warmth of family. Ravi carries that too. I have seen it. She walked to Ravi's side, her eyes bright. Do you remember when you told the children about Earth's oceans? The way they sparkled as you described the waves. That is why I chose you. Not only because you are strong, but because you are gentle. You see people, not just power. Mira frowned slightly. Lena, this is not a matter for rivalry, and I do not speak as rival, Lena replied firmly. I speak as one who is also chosen. You may admire his strength. I admire his heart. Together, perhaps both sides of him can be honored. Ravi stood silent between them. Mira's calm strength pulled him one way. Lena's bright kindness pulled him another. Was it possible to walk both paths? Later that night, Ravi returned to his chamber, his thoughts heavy. He looked at the moons outside. The window, one silver and calm, the other smaller but glowing green. They reminded him of Mira and Lena, two lights, both beautiful, both different. A voice came from the doorway. You cannot sleep either, can you? It was Mira. She stepped inside. Her face soft in the moonlight. I know this weighs on you. But remember, you are not alone. Speak with me. Tell me what troubles your heart. Ravi sighed. On Earth, our way is simple. One man, one woman. But here, your law is different. If I accept, I must walk a path unknown to my people. If I refuse, I risk breaking peace. I do not know what is right. Mira placed her hand gently on his arm. Sometimes, right is not in following old ways, but in creating new ones. Perhaps this is why fate brought you here to teach us and to learn from us. Her words comforted him, yet his heart still carried questions. The next day, Lena sought him as well. She led him to the Garden of Winds, where silver flowers bent and swayed though no breeze touched them. The garden sang softly, each flower releasing notes like tiny bells. You are quiet these days, Lena said, watching him. Do you fear hurting us? Yes, Ravi admitted. I fear hurting you both. I fear making a choice that breaks one heart. Lena shook her head gently. Do not think of it as breaking. Think of it as joining. Our law is not meant to trap you. It is meant to unite us. If you accept both of us, you do not divide love, you share it. Mira and I are sisters. We do not fight for your heart. We offer it together. That is our way." Her eyes glowed with honesty. Ravi felt her words sink deep. Mira saw him as strength. Lena saw him as kindness. Was it possible that both were true? That together they saw the whole of him in ways he alone could not. But not all in Velora were. Pleased, in the shadows of the city, whispers grew darker. Some Alari nobles muttered that a human could never understand their ways. Others feared that letting a human join the royal line would weaken tradition. In the council chamber, voices rose. "He is uncertain. He delays. Can such a man guide?" Alliance, another countered. "He has courage. He has proven himself against danger already." But doubt spread like cracks in Crystal Dot and far beyond Velora, in the dark of space. A rival race the Draxan watched closely. They had no wish to see Alari and humans united. Already, their spies whispered into unfriendly ears. Ravi did not know all of this yet. He only knew that the weight of two worlds sat heavy on his shoulders. He remembered Earth's blue sky, his mother's voice telling him long ago. The right path is not always the easy one. Now, standing between Mira and Lena, between human and Alari, he wondered, could there be a path where no heart was broken, where alliance could still bloom? Or would he be forced to choose one way, leaving shadows behind him? The question remained, burning bright and heavy in his mind. And soon, he would be tested not by words alone, but by trial. For the Alari Council, tired of waiting, began to speak of the trial of harmony, a test that would decide not only his fate, but the fate of two worlds. The royal city of Velora shone as brightly as ever. But Ravi felt the weight of unease growing stronger each day. He had walked among the Alari for weeks now, and though many greeted him warmly, others turned away, their eyes cold. The whispers were louder than before. Why does he delay his choice? Does he not respect our law? A human cannot understand our way. Ravi heard these voices in the markets and the gardens. Even in the palace halls, he tried to ignore them, but they struck deep. He had not refused Mira and Lena, but he had not accepted either. His silence was becoming dangerous. One morning, the royal council summoned him again. The chamber was filled with elders, their robes heavy with crystals that caught the sun. Mira and Lena stood beside him, but their faces showed the same tension. He felt inside. The eldest elder raised his staff. "Human Ravi, the time for silence has ended. The people grow restless. If you cannot choose, then you must prove. The Alari law offers a path, the trial of harmony." Ravi bowed slightly. "What is this trial?" The elder's voice echoed across the chamber. "It is a test not of strength alone, but of balance. You must show that you can walk with both sisters, not favoring one above the other. You must prove that unity is possible. Only then may you claim the bond they offer." Mira stepped forward, her eyes calm. "I will stand with him," Lena added quickly, "as will I." The elder nodded. "So it is decided. In 3 nights, the trial of harmony shall begin." That evening, Ravi walked with Mira through the palace gardens. The silver flowers swayed in silence, glowing faintly under the light of Velora's twin moons. "You need not fear," Mira said softly. "The trial is not a trap. It is a chance to show the truth of your heart. Trust yourself." Ravi gave a small nod. "And if I fail?" "Then," Mira answered honestly, "the bond will be broken, and the alliance may fall." Her words were calm, but her eyes revealed the weight she carried. She had chosen him not only for herself, but for her people. He could not let her down. The next day, Lena came to him with her usual bright energy. She led him to the Garden of Winds, where the silver flowers sang in the air. "You look too serious," she teased. "The trial is not only about danger, it is about spirit. If you walk with fear, you will stumble. If you walk with trust, you will succeed." Ravi smiled faintly. "You speak as if it is simple." "Maybe it is," Lena replied, her eyes sparkling. "Maybe the hardest part is not the trial, but believing you can pass it." Her words lifted his heart, if only a little. But while Ravi prepared for the trial, shadows moved beyond Velora. Far in the dark of space, the Draxan War Council gathered. Their ships were black, their bodies tall and armored, their eyes burning, red like embers. The Alari grow weak, one Draxan commander hissed. They argue over a human, wasting time with old customs. Another slammed a clawed fist against the table. If the human binds them, their alliance will grow strong. We must strike now, before unity forms. Spies were already on Valora, whispering doubts, stirring fear. Some nobles listened. Some even agreed. The Draxan plan was simple. Break the bomb before it could form. The day of the trial came. The council chamber was filled with people, their glowing robes bright under crystal light. The trial would take place in 3 parts. The Cavern of Starfire, a place of burning light and shifting ground, where balance and courage would be tested. The Riddle of the Ancients, a puzzle hidden in the Hall of Echoes, where wisdom and patience would be needed. The Trial of Defense, a final challenge where Ravi must protect both sisters at once. Proving he valued them equally, the eldest elder raised his staff. Begin! The Cavern of Starfire opened like a wound in the earth. Streams of glowing fire ran across black stone, and sharp crystals jutted out like teeth. Heat pressed against Ravi's skin as he stepped forward, Mira on his left, Lena on his right. The path ahead was narrow, a bridge of stone overflowing rivers of fire. Suddenly, the ground shifted, splitting into 2. Mira went one way, Lena the other. Ravi's heart pounded. He could only follow one path at a time. Mira's path was steep and dangerous, flames leaping high. Lena's path was narrow and twisting, the stone crumbling. He looked at both. Then, instead of choosing, he acted differently. He grabbed a fallen crystal shard, drove it into the ground, and tied to ropes from his belt to each sister. We crossed together, he shouted. Step by step, they move as one, balanced by the ropes. When Mira slipped, Ravi pulled her up. When Lena's path crumbled, Ravi steadied her with the rope. At last, the 3 reached the other side, united. The council, watching from afar, murmured in surprise. The first trial was passed. The Hall of Echoes waited for them next. The chamber was filled with floating stones, each humming with sound. Voices whispered from every direction, confusing, distracting. At the center was a great riddle carved into the wall. To walk as 3 but stand as 1. What is shared though none can own? Ravi read the words again and again. Mira studied the wall. Calmly, Lena paced restlessly. It could be strength, Mira suggested. Or laughter, Lena offered. Ravi closed his eyes. The voices swirled, pulling at his thoughts. But then he remembered his days with the sisters. Mira admired his courage. Lena admired his kindness. Both valued him for something beyond power. He opened his eyes. The answer is trust. It is shared, but never owned. The hall grew silent. The stones glowed brighter, then sank into the ground, leaving a clear path forward. The second trial was passed. The last test was the hardest, the trial of defense. In a wide arena beneath the palace, warriors of light appeared, summoned by ancient Alari technology. They charged with spears of crystal, their glowing eyes fixed on Mira and Lena. Ravi's heart raced. He could not defend only one sister. He had to protect both. When Mira was attacked, he blocked with a shield of crystal. When Lena stumbled, he caught her hand and pulled her back. The warriors struck fast, but Ravi moved faster, not alone but together with the sisters. At one moment, 3 warriors surrounded Lena. Ravi leapt forward, but Mira joined too. Striking with a staff of light, together, they pushed the attackers. Backed out at another moment, Mira fell to one knee. Lena rushed to her side, and Ravi shielded them both. Taking a blow that left his arm bruised but unbroken. At last, the warriors faded, leaving silence in the arena. Ravi stood with Mira and Lena at his side, all 3 breathing hard but unhurt. The final trial was passed. The council chamber roared with voices. Some cheered. Some whispered in doubt. But none could deny what they had seen. Ravi had not chosen one sister over the other. He had chosen both, not with words, but with action. Still, shadows remained. A noble voice whispered from the back. Perhaps he has passed. But is a human worthy of our royal line and in the far reaches of space? The Draxan ships began to move. The city of Valora glowed with its usual beauty, but tension filled the air. Ravi had passed the trial of harmony, yet doubt still whispered in corners of the palace. Some nobles praised his courage, others muttered that a human should never be tied to the royal line. Princess Mira and Princess Lena stood by him with quiet strength. But Ravi knew the decision was not finished. Passing the trial proved he could walk with both sisters. Yet the final choice still rested in his hands. The Alari Council demanded an answer. That evening, Mira walked with Ravi across the balcony of the palace. The twin moons floated high, casting silver and green light across the city. The towers shimmered as if made of frozen starlight. "You showed great courage," Mira said softly. "Few could have passed the trial. The council saw your heart, but they still wait for your voice. They need to hear it. They need to hear that you accept the bond." Ravi leaned on the railing, looking at the glowing streets far below. "And if I do not," Mira's calm eyes turned toward him, "then peace may fail. My people will see it as rejection, and the Draxan will see it as weakness." Her words carried no anger, only truth. Ravi nodded slowly, but his heart remained troubled. Later that night, Lena came to him in the quiet gardens. The silver flowers sang softly, releasing tiny sparks of light. "You look sad tonight," Lena said, sitting beside him on the stone bench. Ravi sighed. "Because I fear the weight of my choice. On Earth, I would marry one woman. Here, your law demands two. I do not know how to walk between two worlds." Lena tilted her head, her bright eyes shining. "Maybe you do not need to walk between them. Maybe you can build a new path where both ways meet." Her words touched him. Mira spoke of duty and strength. Lena spoke of kindness and new paths. Both were true, yet different. But even as Ravi searched for answers, danger grew. In the shadows of the city, Draxan spies moved. Quietly, they spread lies among the nobles. The human hesitates. He cannot honor our traditions. He will break the sisters apart. He will weaken Velora. The whispers spread like fire in dry grass. Some nobles began to meet secretly, wondering if it was safer to end the bond before it began. One of the spies sent a message to his commander. "The human is uncertain. The sisters are divided. The time to strike is near." The next morning, the council summoned Ravi again. The great chamber was filled with voices, louder and sharper than before. The eldest elder raised his staff. "Ravi of Earth, you have passed our trials, but the question remains, will you accept both sisters as our law demands?" The chamber grew silent. Mira stood tall, her calm eyes watching him. Lana's hands tightened at her side, though her smile remained hopeful. Ravi felt the weight of every eye. He thought of Earth, of the ocean waves he had described to the children, of his people who had trusted him to build peace. He thought of Mira's wisdom and Lina's laughter. He opened his mouth to speak, but before words could leave him, the chamber door slammed open. A guard rushed in, his face pale. "Attack! Draxan forces have entered orbit," gasps filled the hall. The elders rose from their seats in fear. Mira's eyes flashed with fire, and Lina's playful smile hardened into sharp focus. The eldest elder spoke quickly. "Prepare the city's shields. Call the fleet." The council rushed into action, but Ravi remained frozen for a moment. The choice he had delayed now seemed small compared to the danger outside. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. "This is no longer only about us. It is about our worlds. Will you stand with us, Ravi?" Her words shook him from his silence. He straightened, his voice firm. "Yes, I will stand." The palace shook as the first blast hit Velora's outer shields. From the balcony, Ravi could see dark ships above the city, sharp and black like blades of stone. Draxan fighters swarmed, their red engines glowing like fireflies of war. The Alari fleet rose to meet them, shining ships of crystal light. Beams of energy cut across the sky, explosions painting fire against the stars. Ravi turned to Mira and Lena. "What can I do?" "You can lead," Mira said firmly. "The people trust you now. Show them that you will not abandon them," Lena added quickly, "and fight. Not with weapons of stone, but with courage. Stand where the people can see you. The city's central plaza became a place of chaos. Citizens hurried to shelters. Guards rushed to defensive positions. And the air trembled with the sound of war. Ravi climbed onto the steps of a tall platform and raised his voice. People of Velora, do not fear. You are not alone. I, Ravi of Earth, will fight beside you, together. Alari and human will stand strong. His voice echoed across the plaza. The people stopped running. Some raised their hands, some shouted in agreement. The fear in their eyes began to change into courage. But the Draxen were ruthless. A small strike team slipped past the defenses and entered the city itself. Their target was clear the royal palace, if they captured or killed the sisters. Velora's spirit would break. Ravi learned of this from a breathless guard. Without hesitation, he grabbed a staff of crystal light and rushed toward the palace with Mira and Lena at his side. Inside the golden halls, shadows moved, tall Draxen warriors. Their black armor glowing faint red, advanced with weapons drawn. The sisters stood back to back with Ravi. Mira's staff glowed bright, her strikes precise and powerful. Lena moved with swift grace, her weapon spinning like a dancer's ribbon. Ravi fought clumsily compared to them, but his courage burned bright. A Draxen soldier lunged at Lena. Ravi blocked the blow with his staff, though the impact threw him to the ground. Mira pulled him back up, her calm voice steady. Stand, Ravi, stand for us. He rose, his arms trembling but his spirit firm. Blow after blow, he fought not alone, but together with the sisters. At last, the palace guards arrived, driving the Draxen back. The strike team retreated into the shadows, leaving the hall scarred but unbroken. When the battle quieted, Ravi stood among the princesses, his chest heaving with breath. His robe was torn, his arm bruised, but his eyes shone with fire. Mira touched his shoulder gently. Today you have shown not only courage, but choice. You chose to stand with us, without hesitation. Lena smiled, her eyes warm. And that is worth more than words. Ravi looked at them both, then at the city beyond the broken windows. His heart no longer felt torn. For the first time, he understood what his choice truly meant. It was not about following Earth's ways or Alari's ways. It was about building something new, something stronger. He whispered to himself, the human way. And with the Draxen still in the skies, he knew the time to declare it openly would soon come. The city of Velora had survived the first wave of the Draxen attack. The shield still held, but the enemy was not gone. Their black ships circled the skies like vultures, waiting for the right moment to strike again. Inside the palace, Ravi stood, with Mira and Lena. His arms were bruised, his robe torn, yet his spirit burned stronger than ever. He had fought beside the sisters. He had stood with them. And now, the people looked to him for something greater. The council gathered once more in the grand chamber. Their faces carried worry, their voices hushed with fear. The eldest elder leaned on his staff. The Draxen press us harder than before. Their strength grows. They wish to break our spirit, and they target the bond that has not yet been sealed. Some nobles nodded grimly. The human has not yet spoken his choice, one said. Another added, if he cannot follow our ways, how can he lead in this war? The chamber buzzed with uneasy whispers. Ravi stood in the center, feeling the weight of every gaze. He thought of the fight in the palace halls, of Mira's calm courage, of Lina's bright laughter turned into fierce strength. He thought of the children of Velora who had once asked him to tell stories of the sea. He raised his voice so all could hear. You asked for my choice, Ravi said, and today I will give it. The chamber fell silent. The sisters watched him closely. Mira's face was calm, but her eyes shone with quiet hope. Lina's hands were clasped in front of her. Her breath held. Ravi continued, on Earth, my people marry only one. Here, you say I must marry two. For many days, I feared this difference. I feared that I could not honor one without hurting the other. But today, I understand something new. He lifted his chin, his voice strong. The human way is not about choosing only one or following only old law. The human way is about building together. It is about standing not alone, but side by side, no matter the number, no matter the difference. I choose both sisters not because your law commands it, but because my heart tells me to stand with them both. Gasps filled the chamber. Some nobles looked shocked. Others whispered to one another. The council sat frozen. Ravi's voice rose higher. Filled with fire, I did not come to break your ways. I did not come to throw away my own. I come to join them, to make something new. The human way is not Earth's way or Alari's way. It is our way together. The words struck the hall like thunder. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, Mira stepped forward. I accept his choice, she said firmly, her calm voice carrying strength. He honors us both, and he honors our people. This is not weakness. This is unity. Lena smiled brightly, her voice warm and fierce at the same time. I accept too. And I say let no Draxon tear this bond apart. Together, we are stronger. Their voices broke the silence, and slowly, other voices followed. Some nobles nodded. Some clapped their hands lightly, and even the elders looked thoughtful. At last, the eldest elder rose. His staff glowed faintly as he spoke. Then so it shall be. Ravi of Earth, Mira of Velora. Lena of Velora, the bond is accepted. From this day, you walk as one. Outside the palace, the news spread like fire across the city. People shouted. In the streets, children cheered. The human way became a new phrase on their lips. Whisper with hope, the human way, but high above. The Draxon commander watched from his dark ship. His eyes narrowed as he heard reports from spies. The human unites them, the commander growled. Their spirit grows stronger, not weaker. We must crush it before it spreads. He gave the order. The Draxon fleet began to gather, preparing for a final strike. That evening, Mira, Lena, and Ravi stood together on the palace balcony, the twin moons glowed above, their silver light falling across the city towers. You spoke with great courage today, Mira said softly. The people believe in you now. Ravi shook his head. They believe in us. Alone I am only a man. Together, we are something greater. Lena leaned on the railing with a grin. Then tomorrow we will show the Draxon what that means. The next day came like a storm. The Draxon fleet descended with full power. Their ships blotted out the stars, dark and sharp, their red weapons burning. The shields of Velora flared as blasts struck them again and again. The Alari fleet rose to meet them, but the battle was fierce. Explosions lit the skies, raining sparks and fire. The city trembled. Ravi stood in the command tower with Mira and Lena. He watched the battle unfold on shining crystal screens. The air was thick with tension. We cannot hold long, one of the generals said. Their numbers are too great. Mira's eyes narrowed. Then we must strike at their heart. Take out their command ship. Lena turned to Ravi. This is where you lead. The people must see you. You must show them the human way is not only words, it is action. Ravi felt fear rise inside him, but he did not let it control him. He nodded. Then we fight. Not only for Velora, not only for Earth, but for every world that wishes to stand free. He placed his hands on the crystal console, the device glowing. Under his touch, with Mira guiding tactics and Lena directing the fighters, Ravi spoke to the fleet. Warriors of Velora, today is not the day we bow. Today is the day we rise. The Draxon seek to break us, but together we are unbroken. This is the human way. Stand with me, and we will drive them back. His voice carried across every ship, every soldier. The fleets roared in answer, their courage burning brighter. The Alari ships shifted into new formation. Weaving like rivers of light, guided by Mira's calm wisdom, they moved with perfect precision. Lana's laughter rang through the comms as she directed daring strikes, weaving the fighters like a dance, and at the center, Ravi stood, steady and unshaken. The bridge between them, the battle grew fierce, explosions painted the sky. The command ship of the Draxon loomed ahead, dark and massive. Its weapons glowed like a rising storm. This is it, Mira said firmly. Let's show them the human way. Lena shouted. Ravi gave the order. All ships forward. The fleets clashed in a blaze of fire and light. Alari ships darted through the chaos, striking the command vessel again and again. The Draxon fought with rage, but the unity of the Alari and the courage of the human way held strong at last. With a final strike guided by Mira's calm precision and Lina's daring move, the command ship exploded in a great storm of fire. The Draxan fleet broke apart, leaderless, their formation shattered. One by one, they fled into the dark of space. The skies of Velora cleared. The people shouted in joy, their voices filling the city. Bells rang, lights flared, and songs of victory began to rise. On the balcony of the palace, Ravi, Mira, and Lina stood together. "The battle is won," Mira said softly. "For today," Lina added with a smile. "But tomorrow we keep building." Ravi looked out across the city, his heart steady. He knew this was only the beginning. The human way had been born, and its light was now burning across the stars. The Draxan fleet was gone. Their command ship had been destroyed, and the sky of Velora was once again clear. The people filled the streets with shouts of joy, waving banners, singing songs of freedom. Bells rang across the shining towers. But inside the palace, the air was calm. Ravi, Mira, and Lina stood together, gazing out at the city below. Victory had been won, yet their journey was not over. Mira's voice was steady as always. "The Draxan will return one day. Defeat will not stop them forever. We must prepare for the future." Lina nodded, her bright eyes shining. "Yes, but today belongs to the people. They must see hope, not fear. They must believe in the human way." Ravi stood between them, his heart heavy but strong. He thought of Earth, so far away, and of Velora, which now felt like home. He thought of the children who would grow in this world, free or enslaved, depending on what choices were made now. He placed his hand over his chest and spoke softly. "Then let us build a world where no child fears the sky. Let us build the human way, not only in words, but in every stone, every law, every heart." The next morning, the great square of Velora, filled with thousands of people, the council, the nobles, the soldiers, and the common folk all gathered. High banners of silver and blue waved in the wind. A great platform was raised. On it stood Ravi, Mira, and Lina. The sun rose behind them, casting golden light across the city. The eldest elder stepped forward. His staff glowed with ancient power. His voice carried far and strong. "People of Velora, today we stand at the edge of a new time. The Draxan sought to break us, but we endured, and more than endure, we have found a new path. A path that unites, not divides. A path born not from old law alone, nor from one world alone, but from the bond of many. Today, we name it the human way." The crowd cheered, the sound rolling like thunder through the city. Ravi stepped forward. His heart raced, but his voice was clear. "I'm not of your world, but I stand with you. I did not come here to rule or to command, but to live and to share. Yet fate placed me here, and with it came duty. Today, I give you my promise. I will walk beside Mira and Lina, not above them, not in front, but together, and I will walk beside all of you as one people, one bond." The cheers grew louder, tears glimmering in many eyes. Mira raised her hand, her calm voice cutting through the noise. "The human way is not only about marriage or bond. It is about choice. It is about unity. It is about standing with open hand, not closed fist. If we follow it, no power in the stars can break us." Lina lifted her voice next, bright and strong. "And if the Draxan return, they will find us ready, not just ready to fight, but ready to live, ready to build, ready to share our strength with every world that seeks freedom. The human way will not stop here. It will spread across the stars." The crowd roared, their voices united. For the first time in generations, hope filled the hearts of all. That night, the palace glowed with lights. A great feast was held, not for nobles alone, but for all. Farmers sat beside scholars, soldiers beside healers, children beside elders. Food was shared, laughter echoed. Music filled the air. Ravi sat at the high table with Mira and Lina. He looked out across the hall, seeing joy where once there had been fear. Lina leaned close with a grin. Look at them. They're already following the human way. Without even knowing it, Mira smiled softly. Unity is not built in council halls alone. It begins here, in the hearts of the people. Ravi felt warmth spread through him. He had once been only a traveler, lost among the stars. Now he was something more, not a ruler, but a bridge, a bond, a symbol. Days turned into weeks. The city rebuilt its walls. The fleet repaired its ships. Trade routes reopened, and messages of alliance spread to nearby worlds. Many planets, long afraid of the Draxan, began to send envoys to Velora. They wanted to learn of the human way. The palace became a place of learning, not only of ruling. Humans, Alari, and others gathered to share knowledge. Farmers exchanged seeds. Builders shared new tools. Scholars translated texts from one tongue to another. Mira guided the work with calm wisdom, ensuring fairness in every choice. Lena inspired the people with her fearless energy, leading them in the fields and training grounds. Ravi walked among them, speaking not as a lord but as a friend. The human way was no longer only a name. It was becoming real. One evening, Ravi stood on the balcony, looking at the stars. The twin moons shone bright, and far away, he imagined Earth waiting. Mira joined him, her presence quiet but steady. "Do you miss your world?" she asked gently. "Yes," Ravi admitted, "but I do not regret staying. My home is here now, with you and Lena, with your people." Mira nodded, her eyes calm. "Then your journey was not an accident. Perhaps the stars themselves guided you here." Lena came bounding onto the balcony, her laughter ringing out. "No more serious talk. Come, Ravi, the people want to hear you sing again. You promised the children a song from Earth." Ravi laughed, his heart light. "Then let us give them one." The three of them walked back into the hall, where children waited eagerly. Ravi sang a simple Earth melody, his voice blending with the soft music of Velora. Mira's calm harmony joined in, and Lana's bright notes danced above them. Together, their voices filled the palace with joy. Years later, storytellers would tell of that night, of the human way, of the man from Earth and the two sisters of Velora. They would say, when fire filled the skies, they chose unity. When doubt darkened their hearts, they chose trust. And when the Draxan sought to break them, they chose the human way. And because of that choice, the stars themselves grew brighter. Ravi stood once more on the balcony. Long after the songs had ended, Mira stood at his left, Lena at his right. Together they gazed at the endless stars. The human way was only beginning. There would be more battles, more trials, more choices. But Ravi knew, deep in his heart, that they would endure, for he was no longer alone. Together, they were unbroken. Together, they were the human way.